great stuff on that side. Excited for us on the way. On the other side, oh God,
Hey,
God.
Merry Christmas, Chargers fans. You got top of your wish list.
SOS. Y'all were saying SOS for a minute. Somebody save this team. Enough's enough. We're tired of Brandon Staley, what's going on. And they had a grand exit on last Thursday versus the Raiders, getting beat down to the nth degree.
Lowered the boom on them.
It was a grand closing for Brandon Staley on with the world watching versus them that last weekend. How you feel about him being fired after that game, and what you think the Chargers should? We'll leave it there. Just how you feel about Staley being fired after that game.
Yeah, I was like, the best part of that game was just Kirk Herbstreit and Al Michaels just shitting on how bad the Chargers were getting beat down.
They were the whole game.
Couldn't even really talk about the X's and O's anymore. It was like, geez, like we know Staley is out of here essentially.
Yeah.
I was surprised, like he took the halftime interview, and it was like, how do you regroup from this? Like they ain't trying to hear anything you say in the locker room, man. It was clear from how that team played that they had absolutely quit on Staley. We had talks off air, like, are they just tanking to get him out of here for good? I don't know if they were necessarily tanking, but they had no effort out there whatsoever. At least it was clearly on the defensive side. It was like tackling was an issue. They gave up 49 points defensively, because they got a couple defensive touchdowns too. So
I was going to say it was like 49 in the first half.
They had a team total of 63, but I think 2 of those were defensive touchdowns. So But yeah, it was a thorough beating from start to finish. Obviously, Staley deserved to be gone after last year, but he made it to week 15. And Tom Telesco with him. They said sayonara as well, and I think Chargers fans are going to be very happy about that. Got number 1 and 2 off their Christmas wish list checked off, I'm sure.
You said 1 and 2. Should there be a 3 and 4 that follow in line with that? You think just knocking those 2 off will keep them? Can get them back in proper position.
In terms of the current regime, definitely those were the priorities in terms of the turnover. I do think, which was actually kind of news to me. I think you touched on it briefly because I hadn't been following as closely, but it feels like fans are pretty critical of Kellen Moore as well too. Like he had a good start to the season, but that the play calling like towards the middle and later in the season hasn't been anything to write home about. So I think they want to see more from him. I don't know that they want him gone, but
again, it seemed like the whole thing was falling apart with Staley at the helm. So yes, the offense was playing bad, but because of who was above Staley, I don't fully put that on him. I know he has more. Of course, he's the coordinator, so he's more hands-on with the offense. But just with how much of a mess that team was as a whole, I don't fully put that on Moore this year. If he does that again next year, that's another story. But right now, like I said before, I'll hold on to him, and people give offers and all of that. Unless Belichick comes in and he has a whole idea of how he envisions this being rebuilt with his own coordinators and all of that, then maybe. But even in that, I like Moore enough to say I push back and be like, I still like him enough to
keep Moore.
We'll see.
I agree with that too. And obviously, like the weapons aren't there. Like Easton Stick didn't have much to work with beyond Austin Eckler. Like Josh Palmer was his wide receiver 1 in that game against the Raiders. No disrespect, but he's not close to wide receiver 1. So Keenan Allen being out, Mike Williams being out, like I understand why the offense has struggled at times when it's just been Herbert like kind of force feeding Keenan Allen. Like that's because that's pretty much what he had to work with. So it's going to be on the new GM to bring in some more skill pieces that can help Justin Herbert out on the offensive side. One thing I will push back on that I saw being a narrative that night was just about basically fans using it as a reason to say like why Justin Herbert like is this elite quarterback. Like we've talked about it. He's a great quarterback. Top 10 guy for sure, maybe arguably 6 or 7. But using that beatdown where the team completely quit on the coach as a reason for why Justin Herbert like is the team, like is carrying the team kind of thing. Like I don't think that you can just use that as a kind of like one-to-one as of why the Chargers have been so bad. Like it hasn't just been Herbert by himself. Like there's been plenty of issues along with Staley and Telesco at the top. The defense has had, I think, for 3 years now, they've been like 29th, 28th, 27th ranked defense.
While being one of the highest paid.
Right. And so Herbert has had to deal with that, like bad defenses and guys being banged up. But like, let's not use this to say that like he is the team, he is the chosen one, he is the elite guy. Like, he is great. They need to do a better job of building around him for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. It isn't just him. There has to be other pieces in place around him to execute this thing. What we do, acknowledge his talent, and again, we'll see how they put it together. To that point, looking around kind of hypothetically, now just use the standings that we've been looking at recently as an example. Seeing the top teams, we have the Ravens up there, Niners, Cowboys, Eagles, just teams of that nature. And look at teams that are at the top right now. Who should the Chargers kind of emulate in their rebuild right now? Are there any teams you see right now that you say the Chargers should take that blueprint? Like we talked about with the Ravens, that they should take the Eagles blueprint and just kind of take that and kind of do their version. Is there any team you see that the Chargers should take and kind of make their version of right now?
I don't know if there's a team that jumps out to me immediately. Like what I'll say in terms of like what my vision for the team would be like, improving it would be finding a running back that's like good, efficient, like between the tackles. Because I think the running game, while Austin Eckler obviously has the pass catching ability and maybe hasn't been 100% healthy, we don't know. But he's been out there since week 5 or whatever, so he's playing, but maybe he's not 100% himself. He hasn't been the guy that you can count on for 3 downs, or the guy that you can count on to be efficient between the tackles. And Joshua Kelly clearly isn't that either.
Right.
So I think bringing in a running back that you can count on as a 3-down back and another guy as a change of pace back, I think they need to completely flip that running back room.
Yeah.
And then bringing in a wide receiver. Keenan Allen is still really good. He is getting up there in age. This has been one of the few seasons where he's like stayed healthy for most of the year in recent years, which has been good to see. But he is still getting up there. And then Mike Williams banged up every year, pretty much it seems. So bringing in another wide receiver, because I was going to say maybe taking the Eagles route of trading for a wide receiver kind of thing. But they do have Keenan Allen still, who kind of can be wide receiver 1. So I don't know if you want to fully go that route. But I don't know if there's a specific team. Is there one that jumps out to you in terms of emulating?
You kind of described what I had in mind, and how that plays doesn't fully match really any of these teams in a way. Because while I thought was, again, flip that running back room, as you pointed out, truthfully, I think you kind of said it, but just not that you don't want versatile backs. Obviously, that's the wave right now.
Yeah.
But they just need workhorses down there. Like they just need Justin Herbert's going to pass the ball, so let him have all the receivers he needs. Let him have all the tight ends. Find a good tight end. I know we've had some success with Parham and Everett, but have maybe a more secure, clear top tier tight end if you can find one some kind of way. But then get your good receivers that can all push the field and all that kind of stuff. But then in the backfield, you need somebody, just for name's sake, a Derrick Henry. You need somebody that's just muscle back there that can just, when everything else, when all that other stuff is going on and the passing ain't working, okay, if that don't work, we can just hand it off to Henry and we can let him go and make that happen some kind of way. I don't know exactly what other team has a build like that. The Browns kind of have a build like that. You can take their defense as well, but you have to that would require you flipping the defense into a top tier defense, which you can't fully just do in a year. Though some teams have found their ways. I think you just kind of have to I guess, flip, as you're pointing to, some of the ways we've been operating so far, and take some chances on some other other type of players to come in here and be beneficial. So yeah, we'll see how that plays out. We'll see what direction they go in, and looking forward to see how they rebuild it. Is Belichick still top of your list for guys you want to see in the building for us?
Yeah, I think he definitely would be. I don't know, like, who else is on the market as far as guys that don't have a head coaching job, like veteran coaches that might be on the market. I don't know if you have heard any names.
Not a whole bunch of names off the top of the head. Just from following the Ravens, they mentioned Monken and defensive coordinator for the Ravens, both as options. I know the Lions have a coordinator for their OC, I believe, that people have been raving about and say is really good. People have again brought up Bieniemy as a potential piece.
Yeah.
I know we've gone through that a couple of years now, so we'll see.
Yeah.
So there are a few names off the top of the head just from seeing them afar. I'm sure there's more in-depth folks that other big names I'm just missing. Folks have joked about Harbaugh at Michigan and stuff like that.
Right, I have seen that, yeah.
So I'm not sure if that's even possible, but yeah, just things of that nature. So we'll see. But yeah, Belichick for sure is top of the list. So we'll see how that plays out. Looking forward to what's on the way. Now looking forward to what's on the way with the Chargers. It was looking dim for a while.
Yeah.
Now the lights are back on for sure over there. And yeah, any last words on the Chargers right now?
I think just like what you just said, it felt like it was inevitable. It was far too late for this to happen. But we knew Staley had to be gone, and it was a bonus to see that Telesco was gone along with him. So very, very important, the head coaching decision, the GM decision that they make going forward, because it's been a brutal. I don't know. It's kind of been a brutal existence for the Chargers, honestly. But it's been a brutal last few years with Staley and having the expectations and still coming up short. So yeah,
the storm is over now. We can look to brighter days ahead, and excited for what's happening with the Chargers now. And yeah, let us know what you guys think of the Chargers and their rebuild now. Who you guys are looking at to be in the building, both on the staff, on the player side. How you want to see this thing play back out? We'll be in the comments, listen to it all, and appreciate hearing your thoughts on it. So great stuff there. Lastly, I will say again, make sure you follow LA Sports Report, of course. And yeah, we'll see you guys in real soon. Appreciate y'all.